In MMO news, soon we'll have more to talk about than still being angry about Dawn Trail Story for some reason.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Big disclaimer here at the top of our Final Fantasy XIV news section here. This would be my first time categorizing, reading, and understanding Final Fantasy XIV news as a current player. And, oh, man, is it hard. Because it's full of assumptions and vague alludes to previous announcements without any actual linking. It's a strange system y'all have here. Because you'll say something like, the current content that we know well and good is coming out very soon, that we all know is pretty much the date. And you're like, where's the link? What's the date? Where did they say these things? And it's all just math and predictions. All this is going to come out probably on the 18th, maybe the 25th. Maybe if you're in a different part of the world, you'll say a day earlier, or maybe you'll say the day after. And it all kind of gives this crazy nebulous feel to things that people go, but we 100% know it's true. So there was a number of roundabout posts, but mostly these are facts from the New Year's letter by Yoshi-P and the live letter producer's announcement, which we know is on February 7th, plus a Walk with Yoshi-P translation that happened this past weekend. So there is new information about these old things that many people know are true.
If you're new around here.
It's insane. It is actually kind of insane. Hey everyone, welcome to the Clips channel. Did you know this isn't our main channel? Yeah, you should subscribe over and find our main videos and our streams as well. We also have a podcast that you can find wherever podcasts can be found, so explore the internet. See you there.
The live letter for 7.2, which is the next major patch for Final Fantasy XIV. We know when that's going to happen, which apparently says 3 a.m. Pacific. Dear God, stop doing this to us. Are we going live for this, Kyle?
Well, it's 6 a.m. I'll be up, but, I'm not going to make you be up. I'm not saying I'll solo it either. I
can do it. I'll be there.
We'll see. It's only going to be in Japanese, so we'll enjoy the pictures. But there's not going to be much tuning in.
We'll do the Discord thing like we have in the past.
Exactly. We'll have the translations open, and it's fun to do. I like seeing the pictures. They're fun pictures. It's a fun event. It's always a good presentation. It's chill atmosphere. I like it.
Being current in Final Fantasy XIV, everyone said that everyone would just stop watching us and our channel would explode. That is not what is killing us. What is killing us is actually covering this game as a current player, because they keep dropping shit on major American holidays and making us get up at Satan's ass crack of dawn.
Don't you game
That's what gamers? Is actually killing us.
Don't you game gamers? No. It's a round world, we're good. It's all good. The planet, spins. It's all right.
Yeah. Nothing has made me want to go back to covering Blizzard games more than just getting on a Western schedule. That sounds so nice to me right now.
I'm just saying, y'all's news could use a little bit more hyperlinks. However, I have delved the depths and at least cross-referenced the things I'm going to say today to my current understanding. So I say that caveat because I might be wrong with some things, because y'all made assumptions about what I would understand. At any rate, so we got all the big expected lists for 7.2. And in that live letter, we can expect a teaser for the main scenario quests. And everyone's speaking in all of these posts that went up over the weekend that it's going to be a new dungeon trial combo. So there was a lot of speculation in our own group, a lot of people in our community being like, no, I want Warring Triad again. I want the split trial story. I want more different stories. But all these various websites that I read today are talking as though we have confirmed, which we haven't, that the dungeon and trial are both going to be a part of the MSQ, which I think is the smart choice for their content flow. Why would you hide that?
I also don't like it as much.
I like the variety. I like the side trials. They're super cute.
And it doesn't even need to be a crazy variety, because we've had trial series in the past that have tied in fairly directly with the main story that was being told.
Oh yeah,
Whirlit and Endwalker, or Shadowbringers. Shadowbringers is a really good example of that, because that ties very directly in with a lot of shit that happened in Shadowbringers. So yeah, I don't know. To me, I liked Endwalker's patch content. I thought it was quite good, but I also I missed the standalone trial series. Like, it felt like, I don't know. Narratively, I really feel like we got less.
It filled out the world, is what I liked about it.
Yeah.
And in particular, it's to point at something that I like immediately pointing at, like the Warring Triad, because it was right there, and you went there to Azazlan and were like, what the hell is this? And they're like, don't worry about that machine right now. It's fine. Just don't even think about it. I don't know why those statues are there. That's not important. Get inside. Get in the robot, Shinji. And you're like, okay. Getting to flesh that out as a different story felt bigger and more intuitive. And I can't think of anything in Dawn Trail that's just kind of like glaring on the side. It's hard to see what's glaring on the side, of course, because we don't know. And there's no, smiley faces in chat when we go, hey, what's with these pictures on the wall about like a crying goddess? And everyone's like, oh my God, the crying goddess. She slaps. I love her song, there's an opportunity there. But what is interesting about these various outlets I was reading is they basically made the assumption that this was. And I think if you're, boardrooming it, if you're sitting there playing 2-point Final Fantasy XIV designer, and your audience is suffering from clownitis,
why?
You put the trial in the MSQ and you point in and say, look, developer. And, maybe as an artist, I'd like that too. If I were to put myself in those shoes of, hey, you get to design Whirlit. Oh, sick. Oh, what a great story. Who played it? Well, 25% of the player base. Oh, well, wait, hang on. Why? That's really important. Didn't people care where Gaius went? And they're like, well, they didn't know about it because it didn't pop up on their MSQ list. And so you put that in the MSQ. You have 100% completion on your trial, and everybody saw your fire graphic that you worked really hard to make. And, then the devs win and the suits win.
Please don't tar and feather me for what I'm about to say.
Okay.
But who cares about MSQ only players? They pay for a month and leave. They're not really keeping the lights on between patches.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, the MSQ gives housing, right? It gives a housing item sometimes, so you need that for your house, and maybe they own a house, and maybe they keep their sub rolling, right?
I'm not saying they're that's the simple way to frame what I'm talking about here. I'm not saying that they're a negative, they're a net positive, but who cares if they don't engage with other content? Your more engaged players are engaged with it.
Well, let's compare it to something like Disney Plus, right? Because you got your tried and true, I'm a Disney fan. I got kids. I want to have them, Mulan whenever I want it. They probably keep the lights on, right? But when you slap down in the boardroom your big stack of papers and you say, yo, check out what's the Star Wars thing you watched called? Skeleton Crew?
The recent one? Yeah, the Skeleton Crew.
Well, look at what Skeleton Crew performed. Bam! They're not talking about the always on, leave the subscription going types. They're talking about the peaks. We're not even talking about valleys here, Just showing off those peaks.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, what is the difference between a peak where a 7.2 comes out with integrated trial and 7.2 comes out without without an integrated trial? Does the peak change? If it's a 1 month peak, it's a 1 month peak.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, what's the point? What's the difference? Now, a lot of this is we are now no longer. We are already talking on assumptions, but
the assumptions we're talking about are tried and true assumptions. They're like horoscopes, Pluto's in recess or something like that. We all know that to be true. Pluto is in recess.
This whole conversation is imperfect because they don't give us the numbers to play with. We don't know what numbers look like officially after each patch. They've never come out and said like how many people played Whirlit, for example. We're making assumptions.
Yeah.
I think it's a smart assumption because it's not required. It doesn't pop up in the top left corner if you haven't moved that UI element. But it's just, I don't know. It's an interesting thing I think about as someone who's now really enjoying non-MSQ activities in this game. So it's I don't know. I still like the story. I like when there's more story. It starts to get into what's good and what's not good, because like I like the job quests better than the role quests I have played. So that's like a direction where I feel like the game's not as good as it used to be, as someone who didn't experience when it was current, but experienced it through being able to play it as I went through at my own pace. So there's like things like that. Like I'm like, role quests, they didn't really do it for me. At least the ones I played. Some of them were better than others, but I preferred job quests, and I know that that's more work, but like they said the same shit over in World of Warcraft, and I don't care. Legion's Order Hall campaign was infinitely better than any of the future campaigns they did, where they shrunk it down and they streamlined it so they didn't have to put in much effort, so they didn't have to make as many unique story arcs or assets. And I believe the same is true of Final Fantasy XIV when we're looking at job quests versus role quests.
It wouldn't work for an audio. Actually, we need one of those fast talking guys. I've last more than 4 hours to play right now and do the whole. We understand that job quests actually facilitate more roles. Roles are very hard to make lots of job quests. It was, as you added more and more jobs, it was going to become more and more complicated for the developers to meet man. And it flies by, right? Like it's beautiful.
You can say that.
It's a beautiful thing.
I don't care.
Warlords of Draenor suffered so Legion could fly. Like all these are but in your and let me jump back on the fun train here. In your imaginary scenario, no, I agree with you a lot, and I think that the comment that they're going to pay for it anyway, like, is it more about just walking away satisfied, like knowing you played an extra hour in the MSQ when that's what you paid for? Probably walks away with better, review score, as it were. Not like we do that with the patches, but you probably walk away more satisfied.
I mean, content creators do. Like, as soon as the drought waiting for 7.3 hits, we're going to get a bunch of 7.2 is actually a bad patch videos that are going to be dropping.
That, or it's going to be much like Stormblood, the patches saved on trail, and that'll be positive, I guess. But
I mean, we make the same joke in World of Warcraft every time the expansion comes out. The first few weeks, it saved the game, and then a month later, everything wrong with insert expansion here.
Sure,
this is content creation for games as a service, and I try not to do that, but I'm also human, and sometimes I get a little bored, and I'm like, could you try a little harder, please? Thank you. So anyway, I didn't expect to go this deep here, but you made me think about it.
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating conversation, and I love your point. And if that's kind of how you just want to cash in on those players coming out, I mean, you could have very clear nods. The nods have not always been super clear. Like, who roared at the end of A Realm Reborn? I don't know. Did King Moogle roar? Like, who the hell is yelling? Everyone's like, well, there's a bunch of technicalities. Like, you basically would have to like park the ship.
I was about to say, isn't it proven that it's Bahamut? It was a coils.
There was hot debate. Anyway, yeah.
This is something I don't have a hyperlink for, but I'm fairly certain it was Bahamut. Kyle.
You park like literally like as you exit the MSQ, you're standing right in front of Gaius, and he's got a thing over his head, and you just go, oh, but it have to be Gaius, because otherwise, let's say you finish the 7.2 MSQ and it parks you right in front of Cat Girl that drives a train. I would be like, well, I don't really care. I missed the trial series without, a community and looking it up and knowing where to find and Googling, Final Fantasy XIV raids, and then seeing, a trial series there and being like, wait, what the hell is the Circle of Unknowing? And you're like, oh my God, I should have talked to the train lady. She had the Circle of Unknowing this whole time. That's my favorite trial series.
Anyway, what else is expected in 7.2, Kyle?
Anyway.
Because clearly we could go deeper into this. It could just be its own video at this point.
the second phase of Arcadian Raid.
That has to obviously be coming.
Yes. Yeah. No, that is expected. That is expected. And that was, in the list of things. A large-scale overhaul of Frontlines, which was kind of interesting. Many believe there will be more custom deliveries and allied society quests. The Hildebrand story will continue. The Dawn Trail Relic weapon quest line might begin.
Maybe.
Yes. Now this is where I truly get a little lost, because during the 7.2 release cycle, we will see Cosmic Explorations lifestyle content and Shades Triangle Field Operation Occult Crescent, which that's the Boja like. So that's your open zone, blow up things consistently till you blow up more things and unlock blowing up more things.
Yeah. It's your field operation.
Yeah. So in the live letter, we'll probably see some sort of preview. There might be just flat images or gear, but there could be an actual video roll of the Cosmic Exploration and the Shades Triangle. But that's not confirmed coming out on the 7.2 patch, because that'll be in 7.25 or 7.22, kind of down the line.
Usually it's the half. It's the X5 is usually the other big part of a patch rolling out.
Right.
You have to wait for it. Also, I mean, usually the field operation has, like, if we're expecting relic weapon quest line, usually that has been tied to field operations in the past. So makes sense that I see why that assumption's being made. But I'm still new to being current, so I'm not used to thinking about these assumptions being made.
Yes. And as Chat's saying, like, it is so highly predictable that they don't even say it aloud. I'm just saying, say it aloud. Like, but maybe that's against their creed, and maybe they're just like every dungeon master, every content creator, and they're like, we hope we can deliver it sooner, or we hope we could be unique this time, but we're exactly on schedule. What we're not going to see most likely is Beastmaster at all. That is not likely to see the light of day in the least in this upcoming live letter. There was some interesting translations too about what is currently in development, which is the next ultimate. Cutting down on debuffs as indicators. And the majority of the consuming populace, Reddit in this case, who read...
These are translations from a recent Yoshi-P interview?
Yes. Said that they believe this means more staring at the pits for information, like we did in
just the other night
Savage,
with the third Savage. Yeah, that was really cool. I mean, it's something the game's done forever. That was also happening in the first Savage as well, with the clones either being kind of crouched down or more extended. So, I mean, debuff. I historically don't have an issue with debuffs. I find them kind of tough in this game, because usually there's so much, like, you mouse over it and there's just so much information. And so far in the Savages, they're really vague.
Yeah,
like, they don't actually tell you that much. And I mean, like, usually, like, at least in this round of Savage, a lot of the debuffs equate to something is stored for later. It's like, well, what? Well, you should have paid attention.
Well, yeah, but is that even good information?
Which is cool, but yeah,
it's being cryptic on purpose, which is good, but also that's something they want to move away from. They didn't say what they want that to become, just merely that they want to move away from the debuffs as indicators being such a huge part of how you get that information. And something I didn't think of here is console players who struggle to get to the debuff information while in the heat of combat.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, console players. I don't really think of
I wouldn't even know how to get there
because I don't play that way.
Well,
but yeah, that's a really good point.
It's fun, but what I do is I play console controller at my computer, and so when I need information off my screen, I then go, I one hand my controller, grab my mouse, and go hover over the information I need, and that works well for me. But yeah, how are you gonna get up there is an issue.
It's like for like the one weekend I got really into Battlefield, and I played mouse and keyboard, except unless I got in a vehicle, I had a controller nearby.
Sometimes,
Because
right?
it's so much easier to pilot a vehicle with a controller.
Yeah, no, I played Arma? I think it was called Arma.
Oh, yeah.
I had a
You played Arma?
Yeah, I did.
Holy shit. Why haven't you played PUBG?
Well, I got really into bum 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 bum. This song freaking was awesome. Battlefield 1942, was it?
Okay, all right.
Oh, that's the chills, the song. I love that. Just bum, 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 bum. It's so freaking good every time I fired up that game. And that had a mod, I think, called like Desert Storm or something like that. And that led me to get to play Armor or something. Anyway, I had a joystick just for helicopters because otherwise I could not fly a helicopter.
Yeah, that's like the jet in Battlefield. The same. Just like, oh boy, this is tough. Interesting. I never knew you played Arma. And next birthday, I'm gonna cash in and say you're playing PUBG with me.
I'm playing. Okay, fair enough.
I will probably not remember this in a year's time.
But yes, I I like having the array.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, no, that all makes sense. I'm excited. I know I talk about a lot in a fairly dismissive way about, how coverage of MMOs tends to follow a cycle of optimism and burnout. But I've just talked to a lot of my friends that enjoy playing this game, and a lot of them are just like, yeah, I would like a little more to do, or, I don't play Savage, and so, it's just some of the stuff in Dawn Trail just so far, they don't feel catered to. So I'm bring it on. I'm ready for this patch, because it looks like if all this stuff is right, there'll be a lot of stuff there for non-raiding players. On top of the fact that we're also getting the next wing of the raid, so raiders are also going to this is shaping up to kind of drop a nice amount of content for a lot of different player types.
And it's a huge experiment too, because Dawn Trail did a lot with its battle content, and it was really exciting. We're talking, of course, from personal experience, for what I've heard from people positive on it, that there is a lot of really cool mechanics, really interesting fight design. Now those same people who, while they really enjoyed it, found it too easy, want to see what that next wing is like. What is the amp up? What does one step backwards, 3 steps forwards look like in terms of difficulty? And I love that I love soft resets in difficulty when you just kind of first crest that hill, when you finally beat that sort of capstone boss in a chapter, and then you got to go fight a mini boss, and you got to go find the right bombs, and then you build back up to it. Really enjoyable. Another thing he said about these debuff indicators is you'll need to use your whole screen, which was purposely cryptic, but again, kind of lead itself to this look at the boss's flaming armpits to know if he's going to do an AoE or not. Kind of visual tells over something like raw information debuffs.
I'm getting a little grumpy about the cryptic teases. Just tell me what the hell you're thinking.
Yeah, I mean the man is likely seen, and we're talking about Yoshi-P here, thousands of developers eaten alive for changing words, seen too many trailers go up with, without the this is uncompleted footage in the corner, and then got a roast for it in the background. So he's careful. It could be kind of like, no, it's counterintuitive to my hype. Stop saying we'll see. Hype me, man. Hype me, hype man.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, I get you. Messing with fight tempos was the next cryptic reveal. I think this tied directly to the next statement of hinting at trials having more interesting downtime. So this was in reference to when the boss farts off in an MMO. You know what they like to do? They go,
but if it's interesting, it's not downtime.
Well, yeah, but they like to fly off, maybe do some spins in the air, summon a giant fireball or something like that, right? And you have nothing to do during that time. Unless,
you're the healer, so you usually have something to do.
Yeah, maybe I'm popping a button, maybe I'm healing everybody up, maybe the dancer's doing some dance or something like that. But people want to be hitting things during that time, and there was a suggestion of more interesting downtime. My brain immediately goes, what, so ads run in? Is that what we're talking about? I don't know. I honestly don't know, but it's going to be more interesting, apparently.
I think this is too cryptic to read into.
Well, then you're going to love his Diary of a Young Man short poem that he put in the letter. Never stop, never turn back. He who stops will ne'er endure. He who turns will ne'er be more. And Diary of a Young Man, I think he just took an actual diary from him when he was young and wrote something that he found inspirational to himself. Like he opened one of those letters that your, third grade teacher mails you 5 years after the fact. Opened it up and was like, oh, hell yeah. That's inspirational. But it could also be the walk forth and shadows do lay in that direction. Bah, end of trailer kind of business. So there might be something worth reading into there.
I refuse.
Okay. And you will also enjoy then a year full of fun and surprises, both in-game and out, awaits us.
I feel like you picked things specifically to annoy me.
I can't. These are these are
you can stop now.
These are the specific. I picked out the specifics. I got you the goods.
There's nothing there, but I don't want to dump on it because it seems deeply personal. But there's nothing there.
No, I agree. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna rip on.
So thank you for binding my hands, Kyle. There's nothing to say about this, and I feel like I'm insulting a person I like by saying there's nothing to say about this.
No, it's fine. You can say that sounds personal. That's fine.
Oh my word.
The surprise is in game and out. I mean, to out just means there's going to be like, more products and lawn furniture. But, that's neat. I like lawn furniture. I honestly do
Final
find
Fantasy has some of the absolute asinine product crossovers I've ever seen.
It's so insane. I love it.
Who wants any of this?
Apparently, I mean, actually, did you see?
We need to get Jesse on just to do an episode about like video game merch tie-ins, because I feel like once a quarter he goes off on social media about how Final Fantasy is just doing it wrong. It's like either like the worst t-shirt design you've ever seen or something that costs $800. There's no in between, and he's kind of right.
I mean, do you like their most recent tie-in here with Black Milk is the Tyrol map as pants. That's freaking great. It's just the Tyrol map wrapped around some pants. Oh, that's good. That's great.
Oh my word! Like, why aren't there like a million like sword props and shields and barred bow harps that you can go buy? But like, there's a weird, I can go buy a Limsa bracelet. I keep coming back to those bracelets. It was so strange.
That bracelet was weird. Yeah.
I can go get a creepy doll that's hundreds of dollars that has a porcelain face.
I mean, you sell what the people want. It's all just moving numbers.
It's my point. So when I go down that rabbit hole, I'm like, yeah, the merch for Final Fantasy 14 is kind of weird. It's a little strange. Like, why can't I buy a giant Shadowbringer sword?
I mean, honestly,
seems like something they should sell.
I just want them to sell like normal clothes, like this optional items they have with the. I mean, what do you even call this? What do they call it? The leisure wear attire, because I want to know the names of these things in reality. I can't go Google leisure wear attire. Like, what is a half shirt that's long sleeve mixed with a tank top? Does that have a name in reality? Just sell that. Just let me dress like myself in game. Sell the Scion suit. That'd be sick.
You're gonna need to get really, really strong abs to wear some of the stuff that you wear in game.
Oh yeah, you need to. Yeah, well, it's not even about abs. It's just about cutting. I'm gonna be real hungry to pull it off.
Yeah, I know this. I know some of this stuff is on Etsy, y'all, but also a lot of that is just getting drop shipped out of China, and the quality's really low, and none of it's official.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Etsy has made me so sad.
You want to take some questions before we wrap this thing up?
Don't bring up Etsy. Wait, hang on. Oh, dude, check out this. Wait, hang on.
Oh, no.
Look at this one. It's job symbols all over a dress. That's pretty badass. That's actually like that. I like that kind of. It's not video game but it's video game kind of stuff. You know, a little, if you're in the know, you're in the know.
Oh, you're talking about a very specific thing that is just now being revealed, I guess?
Yeah, that's
No, I
pretty
haven't seen
cool.
this. That is cool.
See, that's the kind of gamerware I like, is when you need to know a little bit. If you know, you know.